All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's a city council meeting, February 25th, 2020. It is 6:01. Stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Gruber, Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
Councilmember Scheer.
Here.
Councilmember Cook.
Here.
Councilmember Hatfield.
Here.
Councilmember Missile.
Here.
Councilmember Adams.
Present.
Mayor House.
Here.
Make the motion excuse Councilmember Gruber.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed say nay. Members excused. Tonight, I don't think we have any agenda updates other than the officer sworn at the end. So tonight's consent agenda is checks number 16569 to 16586 and EFTs as follows. Accounts payable in the amount of $46,666.13. Payroll as of February 20th, 2020, the amount of $24,295.11. And we have the minutes for the city council meeting on February 11th, 2020.
Make a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to, there's one typo that I caught on the minutes. Public hearing for opened at, it says
Yes.
open 6:21, I don't know.
I caught that on the master copy.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
666.
666.
Scrivener error. Any other discussion? All in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed say nay. Okay, now we'll move on to the administrative reports. Chief, you want to go first?
Thank you, Council. So just a quick stats for the end of the year. We got our end of the year's totals for 2018. And just to let you know, Roslyn came in at 857 calls to service for the year. To give you a comparison, South Clayton came in at 300. And then the total for us, for the police department, was just over 4,500. So those are the stats. And we talked about several meetings ago, the Adopt a City program. 2 officers are being assigned to each city. Your 2 officers are here tonight. So I'd like to introduce Corporal Brad Helgeson, go ahead and stand up, and David Holland. And he's also our new guy. So I wanted you guys to meet them. These are familiar faces, so if I'm not at a council meeting, they will be. If it falls on their work day, but with our rotating schedule, no guarantees, but calls pending, etc. But they'll be the ones for the community contact. Our Facebook page is up and running, so we got that started. Soon to follow the Twitter and whatever else for media stuff. I know Facebook, I don't know Twitter, so you won't see me tweeting or however you call it. So. But they'll be checking our Facebook page and whatnot. So if any of you folks are citizens of the town, whatever, make comments or things, these are the ones that will be addressing it for the city of Roslyn.
Great.
Thank you. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other administrative reports? Chris, did you want to talk about the fire?
Yeah, sure. We have a quick administrative report from the fire department. The doors will finally be installed on March 5th. The new aid car should be here by the end of April. The engine levy passed and has been invalidated, so we'll be working, our plan is just to continue work with Foster Garvey, the bond counsel, rather than trying to switch back and forth, because there's bond stuff they have to do at the end, and then there's some just little legal stuff in the middle. It seems easiest to just keep with them, if that's okay with you guys.
Sure.
And we'll probably send you guys a memo from Lee there about, we probably have to hire what's called a fiscal agent, and that's somebody that will research with bank, because it's a small enough bond that really one bank will just buy the one bond. And so, they'll work on getting that placed. And that'll cost about $5,000, and that's paid out of the bond anything related to it's paid out of the bond proceeds. And Chief Sky's gonna work on, with some of the other departments around, just going and specking out, just making sure we're getting the right new engine. And then we're continuing work on how to do the fuels work, right? How to use the grants that we have and get crews out working, brushing alleys, and hopefully having a chipper program and stuff this summer. So we've applied for some grants. We have already received some grants. We've applied for 2 more grants, and may partner with the Conservation District on it. So there's we're just doing a lot of research on that, and planning to go talk to the CAC their next, I think it's the 4th, just bring them up to speed on what we want to do there. And, yep.
Cool. Anything to add, Scott?
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Any other committees or commissions?
I have a really quick thing. Last time I reported on the joint meeting with CAC and people from DNR. And I think just another thing I didn't point out that I thought was really important, that they stressed a lot, was part of why the importance of our area in working with all the many things we need to work with our forest land, is that how we fit into a greater landscape. And that's really all. I just wanted to stress that it's part of a bigger picture. So hopefully, I know we got that forward steward assigned. I don't know if we've heard anything else since then, or if I should step forward with him and see any contact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So just to follow up on that, the fuels work that I was mentioning is tied to that whole plan for the whole the fuels plan for the whole Roslyn Ridge. So yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just email him and see
Yeah.
where we're at.
Get in contact.
That's all, thanks.
Okay. As far as announcements, our 2 commissions and our committees all have vacancies, so we just wanted to say on public record that please apply if you'd like to be civically engaged. And we have posted it so that people know. We've actually gotten 4 applications already. So
What were the applications for?
all 4 of them are for the planning historic
Oh, okay.
preservation. Yeah. So we still need
Cool.
a CAC and still need a cemetery.
Those are all on the bulletin board, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just gotta pay attention to the bulletin board.
So our business tonight should go fairly painlessly. The first one is an engineering contract with Granite Civil Services that you guys selected. This is just the official part of it to hire him.
I'll make a motion to approve engineering contract with Granite Civil Services.
I'll second.
Any discussion, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed say nay. The next one is informational, the utility rate study that we had the meeting with that company with, made some changes. We pushed one of the water projects out further. Okay. And then, so I put from the treatment plant to the cemetery project to the end of the 5 years, and then push that 3rd project.
A more realistic perspective.
Yeah, just knowing that the source pipe is gonna take probably 3 to 4 years.
Thank you.
So then, and then we corrected the tax thing, because
Yeah.
that was a 1-year thing, and she'd put it as a lifetime thing. And then, by doing that, then she recalculated all the numbers. So these are the new numbers in this packet. It's really something I want you guys to digest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's asking ratepayers to pay more money needs to be thought about.
Can we have some discussion at our next admin meeting prior to
Sure.
council? With everybody
We
together?
should have one on
The next meeting,
yeah.
Yeah.
the 10th? Is that right? Can we
That's
do
fine, if that's what, yeah,
that? So we could sort of
okay.
take this
At
in and then
5.
come back with some good questions.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We could even make it like I'll post it just so that all
Yeah,
the
I think we
council
should.
are involved, yeah.
5 PM work study?
Yeah. And keep in mind that the one storm plan at the beginning, is funded by the county, the college
Yes,
monies.
yes.
So, and
And
then we added
Yeah.
some grants, available grant money to try to lessen the,
Considerations.
yeah. Because especially with the water, I'm pretty sure that we're not gonna have too much trouble getting at least some.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great.
And we do have access to that spreadsheet she uses, so if you guys come up with other things you might want to add or subtract, we can quickly throw it in there and change. Then our last piece of business is the Gravedigger Contract. We had to make some modifications on what we pay Wes. We're increasing his pay. Clerk, can you tell us the changes?
To my knowledge, the Gravedigger has not raised his rates in 10 years. So with cost of living and whatnot, and the train that we have at the cemetery, we got together and he decided to raise his rates. Full body burial by 100, cremains by 100. He did include a $75 snow removal, which he's never charged before, and he does put in quite a bit of work removing snow. And then he added an extra $50 for Saturday burials.
Oh, an extra.
An extra 50, and still no Sunday burials. So it's very minimal for what we get.
I'll make a motion to approve allowing mayor to enter contract with the Gravedigger West Graven.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed say nay. Okay, next would be citizen comments on non-agenda items.
My name's Ellie Ballou. I live at 105 Fifth Street in Roslyn. And I'm bringing up, first of all, I think it's wrong that the citizens' comments are at the end. I think that the government is of, by, and for the people, and that concerns raised at the council, to the council, this is a chance for citizens to speak, and I think there's no real reason other than I've heard that the lawyer advises, but I think that this is a matter that normal people can resolve. You don't need to comment upon what people say, but I think it's rude to make them wait to the end at an unknown time. The other thing I have to contribute is an example of how citizens' comments are received by this city at this time. I submitted a letter before the last council meeting by email. For some reason it bounced from the clerk's official address, which I find kind of interesting. I resent it immediately and was informed right after that council meeting that it had been received by Brandy, that she had given it to the mayor and would circulate it to the council. I don't see it present in any part of the discussion. I don't see any agenda item that addresses correspondence, so I'm going to read the letter at this time. Mayor and members of the council, I would like to bring to your attention what I consider to be a significant oversight regarding Roslyn's business licensing. For the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, I have had to request a business license renewal rather than receiving notice from the city, which I did for some 25 years prior to this. Both last year and this year, when I made my request, I have been informed, quote, the city no longer sends out notices due to the cost associated with the mailings. And I've attached an email that has the comment that I received by email that states that. First of all, local business licenses are a state requirement for businesses registered with the state. Secondly, business license information provides significant statistics about Roslyn's business community for Roslyn planning and to document business within the city to other funding sources. Thirdly, business licenses allow the city to monitor businesses providing lodging, business use of vehicles over 26,000 gross vehicle weight, and business use of hazardous materials, for example, pesticides, solvents, and such. How can the cost of sending out such a notice, especially since it can be done by email, be cost prohibitive when one business license generates a minimum of $75? The city is struggling financially, raised its base licensing business fee from $50 to $75 this year, and yet chooses to let businesses decide for themselves if they should register with the city. Please notify the community at large and those Roslyn businesses that have been previously licensed that a business license is a requirement and collect the fees. Thank you.
Any other citizen comments on non-agenda items?
I'd just like to know if we could add this concern to an agenda next week, for the next meeting.
Well, I mean, we added it to this one.
It's not here.
But,
Well, there's also other.
I mean, what I understood was we're not supposed to comment on citizens' comments, so what I'm wondering is if we add this to
So
another
you could
meeting,
comment on that?
so that we could actually talk about it.
Sure.
Okay.
And I don't have any problem with you talking about it right here in council concern if you want, which is the next step.
Okay, fine.
No, I do
Yeah.
agree with you, we really
Yeah.
shouldn't comment back to citizen comments.
Okay.
Because it
Yeah.
turns into back and forth, but it's certainly your right as council to talk about it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other citizen comments on non-agenda items? Well, then now we're on the mayor and council concerns, so
Okay.
first.
Well, I'm just wondering if we should make an attempt to notify businesses that they need to get business licenses. Does that seem like a reasonable thing to do?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we will email them to people if they provide us with their email. And this, you know, I don't think it's a terrible idea.
Okay, does that,
I mean, businesses should know that they have to have a business license.
yeah, and if we tell them that, then we have a better chance of getting them to comply.
Well, yeah, I don't think that,
Yeah.
as far as the businesses within Roslyn, I don't think that we have a problem with people not buying business licenses, to be honest with you. I don't know.
It's the outside vendors that we generally have a problem with that come to
Yeah.
town.
I mean, we could do an inventory and determine if there are a bunch that are not buying licenses. But all the businesses that we go to every day, I know I have business licenses, and they renew
But
every
there's-
year.
What about like cottage industry type things?
Well, and that's
Yeah.
what she's speaking
Yeah,
of. But
yeah.
how would we mail those out?
But maybe we don't mail it, maybe we think of an email generator where
Yeah.
when they sign up for that business
That's what
license.
we're working on right now.
And that's I think a good solution if you guys are already working on some kind of solution where you put it in a database and in 1 year pops around that, but you can also have other things that the businesses can possibly take advantage of I don't know another example, but get your business license today, it's 2019, or get your dog license or whatever, but yeah.
So I know a previous council meeting, I'm not sure if it was a budget retreat or where it was discussed, but it was discussed cutting out a staff member stuffing, stamping, folding, purchasing stamps. Because if you have a business in Roslyn, you should know by now that you should need a business license. But we are taking the old ones and we are generating the email files so we can email them next year.
Great, thank you.
As far as I know, I believe the state is going to be doing this for all cities, not next year, but the year after.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's when it starts, okay, so that's still a ways away
It's,
with
well,
the
one more
state.
year, yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess they just send us our revenues from that, which always is, you know how that works. Other council concerns?
No, I guess, something to hit on what Chris was talking about, with the fire department and the fire wising and applying for grants for, doing alley cleanups and so forth like that. And I don't think as council we've had a lot of discussion on that and how we should support that or so forth. And what is everybody's feelings on that? I mean, I think it's great if they can put a couple guys to, get a small crew together and find our hazard areas and start working on them through a grant system. It sounds like they have some volunteers that possibly work the supervision part of it, and they would look for a service to do that.
Or just get a plan together and bring it to you guys.
Right.
And so it was just something brought up that I thought we should discuss, and I would think encourage, I would think.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we could sit down with the public works, and the fire department and whomever, I guess.
Try to make somewhat of a team effort with some of the public works as well,
Yeah.
and stuff also, but,
We could make a game plan and use the map and see what areas are crucial and what areas should be addressed kind of.
and you're working on a plan sort of for that now, in a way. Okay, great.
Yeah, whatever we can do to help out. I know we all have a lot going on in our lives and all of a sudden it's summertime and it's winter, but yeah, we can figure out a game plan before and help out in any way, let us know.
We should continue the discussion we had before in that small group with Michelle, and I think Jeff was there, I was there. We talked about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Some ideas about how to construct it better so that people take care of their own alleys a little bit too, and their own lots.
Right, it's their own lots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But I mean, they can help with the alley too.
Yeah.
And we'd started that discussion
Yeah.
about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be expanded to public works as well too, and it does fit in with the CAC as well too.
Yeah.
Because if it starts here, it's going that way, so.
Certainly if we have teams out there doing that work too, we could put a mailer into the
Yeah,
utility bill.
if they,
Remind
we
people
see a
that
plan in the next,
lots.
maybe the next couple council meetings, we might see it in the next month. Do you think that we could sort of start it early this year?
Yeah, probably not the next council meeting, but like the one after that, just because we're waiting to,
Yeah.
like, the DNR folks are working on some stuff, and the property owner, the Nature Conservancy above, and
Okay.
so, and the Conservation District got a big FEMA grant, and so they're trying to figure out where some of that money can go, so it's kind of
as timing lines up, give us a little heads up, and then we'll look, so we can set up a meeting ahead of time and try to jump on it a little early for the spring.
Okay, cool.
Be great. Great, thank you.
Other concerns, council?
Yeah, it's kind of a hard to read, that we have these resignations of these, two residents of Roslyn that have been on the planning and historical preservation for quite a while, and it's just a bummer to read that they are leaving after a lot of time spent on, and a lot of hours spent on helping us with code. So just want to say that, sorry to hear that, really. I was actually kind of surprised that I thought it was just one, and then I read the other one, and I was like, oh, so just a bummer to hear.
Yeah, it is. And they resigned under protest because of the city's minimizing the role of the planning commission, one, and number two is basically being treated with a lack of respect. So, yeah, it's a bummer. It's not a good thing.
And then the last one, I haven't really read it, but can we just, I got it. What's this one about? Have we had a chance to read the one from Marie Adams? Sorry, I haven't read it
She
yet.
was frustrated with the public works director, the way he worded something that, when she explained it. But
Okay. So
there was a meeting, cemetery commission, I believe, and there was some discussion about winter burials, and public works director made a comment that she took offense to, and I suggested she write a letter to formally
okay.
Display her displeasure with what she heard.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to know just a.
And we had a meeting with both families involved as well already to try to let them know that we took it seriously as a city.
Okay.
I just wanted something in writing as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other council concerns? We do have a swearing-in ceremony, Chief, if you wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need that. If you're gonna close your meeting,
Oh, okay.
then we can.
So you don't want it to be a part of the meeting?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay. Okay. No.
I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Traditionally, in law enforcement, when a new officer comes in, we have a swearing in with an oath of office, so that's what we're going to do today. And then we also do a ceremonial pinning of the badge. So that'll be performed today as well. So, David, if you could step up here for me. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you are a citizen of the United States and of the state of Washington?
Yes.
Will you support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Washington Constitution and the laws of Washington and the governmental subdivisions?
Yes.
Will you, to the best of your judgment, skill, and ability, truly, faithfully, diligently, and impartially perform the duties of patrol officer in and for the city of Cleon, County of Kittitas, State of Washington, as such duties are prescribed by law, and to abide by the Code of Professional Conduct adopted by this agency?
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, so we just need to sign you up here.
What's his number? 206.
All right, so now that he's an official police officer for the city of Cleon, I'd like to introduce Carlos for the badge pinning. Getting pictures?
Yes, dear.
Slow down. Slow down.
This guy's still trying to get pictures.
A little bit more, turn it up.
Jokester.
Got it.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And we have cupcakes.
All right.
Hey chief, just really quick, just because we have everybody in law enforcement here, would you guys mind just introducing yourselves, just so we kind of know you by name? And I know there's a couple familiar faces and unfamiliar faces, if you don't mind.
So everybody knows Scott Uren, because he's been here forever and a day. And actually, didn't you actually work for the city of Roslyn?
Yes.
Way back when you actually had a police department?
99.
So that was back, yep,
99?
an entire century ago. John Storch is in the back. You might recognize John. He's also on the Roslyn Volunteer Fire Department, amongst a million other things. But
And works for Medic One.
and Kick-Off and
Parks and Rec.
And
so John's our go-to guy for anything technical or setting up cars or computers or, well, whatever. He's just jack of all trades, and he's a great asset for us. So we really appreciate John and all the volunteer hours he puts in for us. And then I introduced Brad today. Like I said, he's been assigned to your guys for the city. Brad and Sergeant Albel were both promoted at the same time. So I had the pleasure of promoting those guys in November of last year. And then, of course, David.
Right on.
Awesome.
Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you.
welcome.
And, well, you want to know the officers, not the ones that actually.
Well, the
run
most
police
important
department.
person in the office.
If there's any questions about anything, how it needs to be done, when it needs to be done, thank God we got Cheryl. So we'd be pretty much lost without her. And
Awesome.
when she goes on vacation, it's limited 2 weeks at a time. No more. So that's about all we can handle with her gone. So, those missing, Jennifer, everybody knows Jen, Nick Burson, and Ben Flick. Ben he's been here 2.5 years now, roughly. He's the one we stole from Seattle PD.
Okay.
So, and that's another reason why I did the Adopt a City is a 2-year rotation. So all the officers get to go through all the cities. So they'll eventually be heading your way.
Cool.
And then, of course, Jackie, our animal control. Everybody knows Jackie. So, and that's it. That's the whole crew.
It's a crew.
Yeah, great crew.
Great.
Thank you for your services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for letting us use your building. We appreciate it. We did our last swearing in at Clayholm and felt it be appropriate to do one here in Roslyn. So,
Yeah. Thanks for including us.
you bet.
It's great.
And eat cupcakes so that we're not taking them back. Please.
Not donuts?
No.
Just joking.